Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to clear the air. Today things are going to make a lot more sense. The last couple videos kind of got out of order. I'm going to explain to you why, what happened, but we're going to get an update on the soybeans. We're going to take a drone flight the evening that I was planting the soybeans so I can kind of show you the layout, what I was thinking, where the food plots are going to be. The cut areas versus drilling right through the hay. And we had some comments on the last soybean video about methodology and so forth, and we're going to clear the air on all that. It'll make a lot more sense here in just a minute, so let's get into it. Thanks a lot. So we did go out of order, and that was kind of for a couple of reasons. One is we bought a new computer for the Missouri house because we're going back and forth 1 or 2 times a week, and then we were out of pocket. We couldn't do any video editing and that kind of thing. So for the July 4th weekend, we kind of skipped ahead and posted a couple episodes so we could get up near live content for the vlog aspect of the whole move and everything. So that's kind of why we skipped ahead. The soybean planting were long videos. They took a lot of editing, but today we're going to wrap it all up and put it together. So we're going to take a drone flight here. The drone flight was the evening I finished planting. I wasn't totally done yet, but you'll get to see where I planted. I'll go over the strategies and some of the things that I want to clear up. Well, I guess I'll do it while we're in the drone flight regarding comments about, hey, did you waste money on that? Because they cut the hay after you planted and that kind of thing. I'll get into that and you'll understand a little bit better why things happened the way they did. So let's check out the drone flight, get into it. And if you like the content, hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate that. So let's get into it. Thanks a lot. All right, let's start out with the hay fields. So here's what happened. The gentleman that was cutting the hay for who knows how many years, I contacted him and he didn't want to cut it anymore because he got some new fields that were closer to his farm. Okay, makes sense. They don't want to travel and use all the fuel and equipment if they don't have to. So he didn't want to cut it anymore. I then contacted 2 or 3 other farmers, been asking around with neighbors and stuff, and nobody else wanted to cut it. And here's a thing that probably hurt us. This spring we had record rains, or near record, a lot of rain. So it was a boon for hay farmers because there was so much rain. They were all flush with hay because the fields were producing, probably 40 or 50% more hay than in, kind of a normal or drier late spring. So everyone was flush with hay. So we struggled to find someone just to come and cut it. We had to basically get someone to come in there and basically cut it for free, just to keep the hay fields open. Now, of course, after the fact, I had another guy contact me, said, hey, I would have cut it. But anyways, it is what it is. So we didn't have any control on when they come to cut this hay because they're busy and they have their farms and everything else going on. So I knew they were going to come and cut it, but I couldn't control when, and they couldn't, tell me when. And of course, the weather plays into it. So I said, look, I can't wait any longer. I need to get some beans in the ground before it's too late. So I bush hogged the areas that I thought I was going to plant for microplots, went ahead and decided I'm going to drill some beans. So I drilled the areas that I bush hogged and already sprayed once, and then I also drilled in areas through the hay. And I let the contact guy, there's kind of a middleman in here, I said, hey, let them know they're going to lose some hay because I'm adding to drilling these beans. So what happened was I went ahead, I drilled all the beans, drilled half of it right through the hay. They literally came like the day or 2 after that and cut the hay. So that should have no effect on the soybeans whatsoever. And we're going to I'll show you a up-close update here on the July 4th weekend. So they cut and raked the hay and had it baled before the soybeans germinated. So that shouldn't really have much of an effect on the soybeans. And then I had Phil come in and spray everything that they had cut, to keep the hay, try to get it killed off and killed back. So he sprayed the areas that they cut, and he also sprayed the areas that I had bush hogged for a second time before the soybeans germinated. So we got a good kill down of the hay, and we're going to get an update on the soybeans, but now we're going to take a drone flight. I'll show you the strategies here, and then we'll get a look on the ground at the update here after like a week of being in the ground. All right, so this drone flight was the evening I was finishing up drilling soybeans, so it was literally like 2 2 days before they cut the hay. So this is a horseshoe plot right there. I'll show you that again on our way back through. But here's the north end. I did this bump out here on the right hand side. You could see this was standing hay. I drilled right through there. And then this here is a horseshoe kind of plot. I figured playing a west wind, let's say I put a deer tower in this big tree right there. That's kind of my thinking on why I planted that in a horseshoe, to try to maximize for a west wind. This middle strip, I had some ideas, but I did not plant that middle strip. So moving back towards the house here, this first bump out here, I bush hogged and sprayed the very end of it, of this finger. It's a ridgetop finger, but as you could see the lines there, I also drilled this entire strip here through the standing hay. So I drilled half of it through the ground I had prepared and the other half through the standing hay there. But there again, Phil came and sprayed all that like the day or two after I had drilled it. So it's going to work out pretty good. Where else did I want to show you? So there's a pinch point right there in the middle. I drilled all that. This spot here, this is a very rough spot. This was where the briars were 5 foot tall. You could see I drilled like an L shape. I tried to pick the areas that were the lowest for the weeds. You know, instead of 7 foot tall, they were like 5 to 6 foot tall. But this is a great transition area here. This is one of the few areas on the farm where you got some successional growth, where you got like your hardwoods, and then you got a thick and nasty growth of cover, and then you got the hayfield. So I believe that's going to be a future good spot, but I got my work cut out for me. When Phil was spraying those briars, he said they were pulling his spray booms off and trying to knock them off of his machine. So it may or may not work, but I'm going to get back there and spray them again and try to get them knocked back, you know, if them beans are coming up underneath this spot. But this is a really good transitional area. There's not many of them on this particular farm yet. You know, I'll have to grow them. Anyway, so there's a pinch point there. I put, you know, an acre and a half or so of beans in that pinch point. And then heading back towards the house, let me show you what I did up here. So heading back towards the house, I planted that long original strip of beans, this rectangular area. But then this finger, this bump out right here, Phil brought me over some of his enlist beans, and I planted that. That's probably a 2 acre patch in there. And then right up in here, I also planted a corn patch to the left of this middle strip of beans. This is mostly within view of the house. I got some woods to clear in that, but you know, there again, I wanted to get stuff in the ground. I don't think them cutting hay had made any kind of dent because the beans hadn't germinated yet. And man, have we got tons of rain on these beans. So beyond the pond here, that's another probably 3 or 4 acre patch. I'll get you a on the ground look here in just a second of the beans popping up in rows. Here again, I had sprayed all this already, bush hogged it, and then Phil came back and sprayed a second time for me. So we should have a pretty decent head start for the beans. You know, my thinking is better to get something in the ground, even if I couldn't get fertilizer or soil tests or whatever, because I'm preparing for the fall. And let's be honest, with the amount of rain we've got, these beans just might do well, and I might have a decent crop of soybeans without even having to mess with them much. I do have some foliar fertilizer that I'll hit them with if they're looking pretty good once they get mature enough, if the deer don't eat them down. But that's the plan here. Just get some beans in the ground. It'll be a bonus if the deer don't devour them all. And even if they do devour them, we're going to get some food in there now, and we're going to prepare for the fall plot. So let's get on the ground here after about 6-7 days and look at how they're germinating so far. All right, so part of this clip was in the July 4th update. That was a near live update. But I'm going to go look at the rows of beans here on this 3 or 4 acre piece that's just beyond the house, and we'll get a look at how they're germinating after a week. Right there, popping up in rows. Boom, boom, boom. There's one coming. There's one right up in them rows. There's one. Oh yeah, these are coming up pretty good here. Look at the rows coming right here. I see some right there, right there, right there. It's hard to envision it, but can you imagine beautiful beans in here? It could happen. We've already sprayed this twice. There's one right there just popping up. There's one there. So yeah, by this side I had it all the way deep, and it doesn't seem to have had any bad effect. Look at that, there's rows coming up right here. Beautiful. Look at how pretty that is. Kind of rolled the dice and said, all right, let's see what Mother Nature does. All right, so that's going to bring us kind of up to speed. We're going to get back in order. I know I went out of order, so my apologies for that, but there was good reason for it. So currently as we stand, we've got germination. Most of the hayfield is cut. It's been sprayed twice, so we'll see. I do have foliar fertilizer, of course, foliar glyphosate if need be. Oh, and that reminds me, I had a bunch of comments that said the Laredo beans are not Roundup ready. Well, I'm just going by, what they're telling me. I went to the MFA, Missouri Farm Association, and they are telling me these Laredos are Roundup ready. So I'll do a test spray just to be safe, but I've called them several times to follow up, and they said, yes, they are Roundup ready. So hopefully that is the case, but I can only go by what they're telling me. I'm just kind of in the middle, so we'll finish up things. And also some pH fixer that can go right on the ground at the same time. So we'll see when I get over there next. Of course, right now it's raining again. It's July 9th right now today. But man, these beans are going to have plenty of moisture, and maybe even the corn will pop up. We'll see what happens. So hope it makes more sense. A lot of this was out of our control. We're just doing the best we can with time management. So thanks a lot. I hope to see you on a future video. Take care.